it's just a reminder. I think a lot of men, or maybe it's just me, I don't know, fall into that category of when they're talking, like they're trying to figure it out as they're talking. And so some of that is giving space and being patient as they're talking this out, because they're probably trying to figure it out as they go. This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate MarriageCast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Welcome to episode 108. We are so glad you're joining us today and so proud of you for carving out this time to invest in your relationship and to grow. Ryan, we have some fresh decor on the table today.
I see that you brought something.
We told you guys we were going to our pumpkin patch in our backyard to pick pumpkins. We did that this past weekend.
Yeah.
It's very lovely. Our daughter was home to enjoy it as well.
Very lovely.
And we have the cutest little gourds.
Yeah.
Ryan's so proud of them. I'm proud of you for them.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Michelle, those are amazing. And it has been such a labor. I will say, I think I originally said I had 8. I think I had 10.
That we harvested. Today
yes.
You found a couple more.
2 more popped up.
That's so exciting.
I know. Very exciting.
Ryan, you have a great show for us today.
Yes, Michelle, I am excited because so many times we talk about the topic of communication.
Clearly, it's an area that we continue to work on, and we feel like you guys do too. So that's why we keep bringing it to you, but you have a fresh take on it today. Yes,
absolutely. So often, Michelle, I know, like for us, communication is really probably the root of a lot of any disagreements that we probably have.
Fair. Yeah.
I would say it comes down to communication. But communication really has 2 pieces. We have the obvious one of talking and sharing feelings. But the less obvious one that I don't think we've ever talked about on the show, but I think equally important is listening. So you have 2 pieces of communication. You have the talking, sharing, but equally important, you have listening.
What was that, Ryan? I couldn't resist.
That's funny.
I couldn't resist. Ryan, I'm really excited because in 108 episodes, like you said, we've never talked about this angle. So you have some great things put together, and we're excited for the show. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle, that was a great joke. Perfectly timed. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been full of jokes lately. Can I just tell you really quick? I had to share this with you guys. Our son decided to join band this year. So I helped him create the perfect reveal to tell family at the holidays. So I was like, hey, Thomas, when you're with family at Thanksgiving, when people ask you, what did you decide to play in band? Here's what you say. You ready for it, Ryan? I'm going to tell you.
Let's hear it.
You're going to say, so you're going to ask, hey, Thomas, what did you?
Hey, Thomas, so I heard you decided to join band. What are you playing?
Drum roll, please. Percussion.
That's amazing. Amazing, Michelle. Yes.
Tell us about the show.
I love it. So, Michelle, I thought I'd start off with scripture, James 1:19. It says, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger.
Great verse.
This single verse, Michelle, I think gives us 3 very important lessons when it comes to listening. And the first, be quick to hear. I think this is a question we have to ask. Are you truly listening to your spouse, or are you immediately formulating your response or trying to find the solution to the problem being discussed? See, I think the key to listening is really being attentive. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's just hearing.
Yeah, Ryan, I looked up the definitions of hearing versus listening on dictionary.com, and I want you guys to hear this. I actually want you guys to listen to this. So hearing is defined as the sense by which sound is received. Okay, so it's like a sense that you have, and it's one of your 5 senses, obviously, but listening is to give attention with the ear, to pay attention. Did you guys catch that? So it's active, it's engaging, you could say is caring, and it's showing your spouse that you matter. You can hear a lot of things, the door opening and closing. Sometimes I hear people talking to me, but I don't really process. Processing it and being attentive is listening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's such a great definition. I love that. I think oftentimes, just speaking for myself, that I think men typically are automatically thinking, oh, how to fix this, like problem solve, and so they're thinking, about their response, and they're not truly listening. They're formulating, and I'm guilty of this, having a very analytical brain of thinking like, oh, okay, you got to do this, and this, and like all this is going on internally in my head, and in the meantime, you're still talking.
I actually have a tip later on in the show for how you can be a more present listener. So yeah, I agree, Ryan. And I think for me, I really do have to pull myself into that listening mode. I love to work. And sometimes because I work from home, you'll get home and you'll be talking to me and I'm literally just hearing you. And you'll even say, love, did you hear that? And it'll almost like snap me out of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, love, I am so sorry. Tell me that again. And I'll tell you what I have to do later on in the show, how to be more engaged at listening. I actually have to turn away from my computer. I'll talk about full body listening later on, but there is such a difference. Are you hearing or are you listening?
Yeah. Yeah. The second piece of the scripture that I love is be slow to speak. You have to let them finish their thoughts. When you're listening, that means not interrupting. Make sure that your spouse is actually finished with what they have to say. Like they may have like 5 things they want to share with you. And if you jump in after the first one and start, taking it a different direction, they may just shut down. They may not do that. I think the other thing when I say this, be slow to speak, for couples out there of really thinking like, are one of you introverted and one extroverted? Because I think this is a really important thing, because if somebody's really introverted, like I'm really introverted. And if somebody like doesn't let me finish, I'll like, it does, like I shut down. If somebody's like continually jumping in and not letting me, finish what I'm saying, it shuts people down.
Yeah.
So I think being very aware of that in your relationship, if the two of you are different, just being very aware of that and being very slow to speak.
Yeah, I appreciate what you said, Ryan. I think it's something I have to keep myself aware of, because I'll get so excited about what you're saying that I'll want to add to the conversation, but it's like a dance, right? So there's a time to kind of take that next step, and you want to kind of be engaged and have a lively conversation. So I think there is a time to kind of respond, as we're doing with these questions, but I can be probably chattier. So if I just dominate and take it in a different direction, you're going to forget what you were saying.
Right.
You're going to just be overpowered by it. And I've seen that happen to you at, we sometimes will be in settings where there's just a lot of really chatty, strong conversationalists and that maybe chat more than they listen. And I've seen you shut down, and it is disheartening because you have brilliant things to say. So I have to keep myself aware of that too.
Sure. Yeah. The last one in here, Michelle, is in this really one sentence scripture, but there's so much here, is this idea of slow to anger. And I think of this really as a lesson in feelings. Are you acknowledging the feelings that are being communicated? This is a really tricky one for me, but I'm going to give you, the listener, a perfect example here. Okay,
they can use it in real life this week.
This is a real thing, and it's multiple choice. So I'm going to give you, a few. Okay, so let's say your spouse comes to you and says, "I don't like the way I look in this dress." How do you respond? Okay. So I'm going to give you some choices here. A, yeah, you're right. B, no, you look great. What are you talking about? Or C, why are you saying that? So the correct answer is C, with maybe a little bit of B sprinkled in, right? A is definitely the wrong answer. I'm just telling you, that's the wrong answer.
Correct.
So, but when you respond with C, and part of that is really trying to get to the feeling of what's being said, and acknowledging there's emotion behind it. Maybe it's a wake-up call, because maybe your spouse is feeling, underappreciated or undervalued. And that's an area for you to continue to work on, to compliment her, to lift her up. So it's really, in a conversation, understanding the emotion that's behind it.
Yeah, I think, Ryan, that's great. And that is an area that you have gotten so in tune with me on. And I just appreciate it so much. But, I'm thinking maybe there's a spouse out there, maybe maybe she just had a baby. So when she goes to the husband and says, I don't like how, I look terrible in this dress. The husband, I agree. First of all, you're not going to say, yeah, you're right. That would be the worst possible answer.
Yes.
But you're also B is a good answer. No, love, you look great. But it's not getting to the root of what she's saying. So C, love, why would you say that? She's probably going to open up and say, I'm really just feeling self-conscious. I can't lose this baby weight. I've been working out super hard. I don't know what to do anymore. I tried, these, supplements or da-da-da-da. And then you can have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It is important to edify your spouse and say, I do think you look great, but why do you say that?
Yeah. Because
then you're going to find out all of the layers underneath and hopefully have a good conversation where she can be vulnerable with you. And we talk often about intimacy. Into me, you see, it's just a point of connection for you and your spouse then. Instead of you saying, no, you look great. And then she's going to be like, okay, but that doesn't really solve the root issue what they're feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is something, Michelle, that we, or I should say that I had a really hard time with, because again, it's easy just to be like, no, what are you talking about? You look great. And to me, then it's, move on. What? It was never acknowledging what you were feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a key component to listening, is really trying to understand, okay, what is going on? Because I think, like you said, that takes it to a whole nother level of intimacy, of connection, when I'm truly listening to you and trying to seek understanding.
Yeah. I think that could be for so many situations if they come home and say, oh, I'm, a failure at this, or, oh, I think I, dropped the ball with this, whatever that is. I think asking those, curious questions, if you will, you're going to get more information and have a better connection.
Yeah.
So it was so good, Ryan.
Yeah.
Correct answer is C.
C, yes.
Pro tip.
Right.
I think, Ryan, that last one, being slow to get angry, you do so good at that. You really have mastered the art of responding and not reacting. And I think whatever that looks like for you, whether it's taking, you, our listeners, taking a breath before responding, look at your cherish list. We talked about making a list the other week, having that on your phone of all the things you love about your spouse, just looking at that before you react to them so you can give a good response. Maybe you wait a minute. You actually set a timer on your phone where you're not going to say anything for a whole minute, so you can just chill out. Or box breathing. I try to do a lot of that. I've been trying to get my HRV status back in control because I feel like it keeps telling me that, oh, you had a demanding day. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. But so that's the advice I'm getting, is do box breathing, where it's like you're going around a box. So you breathe in for 2 or 4. I can't do 4 in and out. That seems too long. So it's in for 2, hold for 2 up that side of the box, out for 2, hold for 2, and then you go around the box again. Box breathing. So I'll do things where I'll actually take out an essential oil roller. I was going to bring one to the recording today. It's in my purse in the other room, but you've seen me do this where, probably our son has said something that presses a button or whatever situation. And I'll take out the roller and be like rolling it on my wrist and then just breathing it in and rolling it on my neck. And you'll be like, are you okay? And I'm like, I just need a moment. I need a moment. But just taking a moment so that you can be slow to get angry. And that's just being slower to respond to those heated moments. So I've done that many times.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, those are really good. So thank you for those 3. Do you want to recap those 3 things again? James 1:19 had said, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger.
Yeah, and I think it's those 3. I love this scripture so much, and it's again, be quick to hear, be slow to speak, and slow to anger.
So good. Well, let's talk about being an engaged listener. We talked about the difference between hearing and listening. Listening is really an active form of engagement. And so I have 2 things for you. One is being present. When your spouse is talking, don't be distracted. If our spouse gets distracted, then you're giving a distracted version of yourself. You're not giving your best self to them. So here's some tips, because this can be me. And I was reflecting back to when I taught kids ministry in preschool. We used to play this video at the start of the class. It was how to be a whole body listener. And I looked it up on YouTube and I was like, okay, I couldn't find the one that we used to play, but it was something like, you can be a whole body listener. Listen with your eyes. Pay attention. Listen with your ears. Be an active listener. Listen with your mouth. Be quiet. They zip their lips.
Yeah.
Listen with your brain. Tapping your head. Think. Think about what they're saying. Listen with your feet. No moving. Listen with your hands. Keep them to yourself. Now, with your spouse, maybe you can put your hand on their shoulder or something and empathize with them. But really doing a mental check of, so how this, it's a silly little tool, but really you can think of the 5 senses for your listening. So I'll turn, when Ryan comes home, I'll turn towards him. I'll close my laptop. I'll look with my eyes. I'll engage with my brain. My feet, I'm not like walking around doing stuff. I'm just sitting in place, looking at you. My hands are still. I'm not still messing around with my papers or writing in my planner, right? So really it's all of those things.
Yeah.
I'm giving you my full body listening to be an engaged listener.
Yeah.
Do you like my song?
I do. Yes. It's so good. Yes.
So if you can't find a way to do that, maybe you schedule an uninterrupted time together. So we also will do tea after our son goes to bed. We have been on a major tea kick, probably for the last year.
Yeah.
I got a sampler pack and it was just, the rest was history.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's delicious. And Ryan makes the best tea lattes. So we'll froth some half and half. By we, I mean Ryan. He gets the perfect consistency. So we'll make our pumpkin pie chai or, Good Hope vanilla or peppermint or whatever it is. And we'll sit in our living room with our crackling fireplace screensaver on and we'll chat.
Yeah.
So carve out some time where you can do that with your spouse. If it's after bedtime, maybe it's over lunch break or whenever that is, or in the morning. I know our neighbors across the street have their coffee together at like 4 or 5 a.m. or something really early and very, very early.
Wow.
But find that time.
Right.
So that's number 1, be present. 2 is be available. So our schedules are demanding and we know that you have a million things pulling at you, but if you know that your spouse is going through a really tough time, like that is your priority. So really trying as hard as you can to be available. Ryan, I feel like you do so good at this. With me, you have a busy job, you're juggling a million things, but if I call and something is really important to me, you take my call. If you're a surgeon or, a pilot or something like that, maybe don't just drop everything, but to the best of your ability, if you're a contractor standing on like scaffolding, use your best judgment. But if you're able to, call your spouse back at your earliest chance and really try to be there for them.
Yeah.
Because that means so much when you say, hey, I care about you. You're my priority. I want to listen to you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Michelle, I think it's so, and even at like, if you have a demanding day, of sending a message back saying, hey, I'll give you a call back, in 20 minutes or in an hour over my lunch break or something like that. Like I really want to be there. I want to be available for you. I'll give you a call then.
Yep. You did that. I think it was yesterday or maybe this morning. You said, hey, I'm going into a couple meetings, but then I'll be available.
Right.
You proactively did that. You didn't know if I needed anything. You just did that, which is really sweet. Yeah. So being present and being available, you can think about the full body listener, maybe find that song, but some other tips are just removing distractions. Like I said, listening with your whole body, but also, Ryan, I want to add these. Don't jump in right away, but try something like, that sounds frustrating. So before you fix it, try to empathize with them. So that sounds really frustrating. And I have to say, you and Ella have also mastered that statement, probably since we started the podcast. I feel like it's within the last 2 years, but you guys will listen and then you'll say, I'm sorry, Mom, that's really frustrating. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
It is so great because you're acknowledging what is said before you spit back a response or a solution.
Right.
And sometimes this is good too. You repeat back what was said to you. So if your spouse says, oh, I'm just really frazzled because Jenny at work, she, I don't know, took all the credit for my presentation and I worked on it and she just told the boss that it was all her. Then you would repeat back, wow, I'm really sorry that Jenny took the credit. I know how hard you worked on that project. I'm sorry that you didn't get the acknowledgement today that you were hoping for. And immediately your spouse is going to be like, yeah, exactly. And if you think about it, that's what a good counselor often does, right?
Yeah.
If you go to a counseling session, that's not all they do. Tony, don't take offense. That's not all they do. But a lot of what they do is you'll say something, they'll repeat it back, and you're like, yes, you get me. Exactly. When really it's like they repeat some of what you say back to them. So try to do that and see the response. But it's a way to practice active listening.
Yeah.
So be present and be available.
Yeah. I love that, Michelle. Those are so good. I thought I'd just add in one more, and maybe this is just for me. So, but I'm gonna share this in maybe the thought that other men are maybe like me and fall into the same category. And I think it's along the lines of being patient. I often think of things like sometimes, man, like it takes me a while to land that plane, right? Like I got to circle around a little bit. And some of that is especially like when you're dealing with, for me in particular, like emotions, right? Like, or feelings. I'm not a big like feeler, and so there's a lot of times that maybe if I'm talking, I'm trying to figure out what it is that I'm feeling.
Sure.
I'm trying to figure out, how I'm feeling, what it's making me feel. Like there's a lot of figuring out as I'm talking.
All these feelings.
And it's just a reminder. I think a lot of men, or maybe it's just me, I don't know, fall into that category of when they're talking, like they're trying to figure it out as they're talking. And so some of that is giving space and being patient as they're talking this out, because they're probably trying to figure it out as they go.
Sure.
And I think it's just a really, really important thing to not shut them down while they're trying to figure that out.
I appreciate that, Ryan. Yeah. I think even thinking that's probably an area that I can do better at. Like that makes so much sense that you sometimes maybe you're not as in tune with your feelings, but it's you're trying to acknowledge or identify what it is that you're feeling to be able to have this real conversation with me. So it's just allowing you to process through.
Right.
Yeah. That's great.
Again, hopefully that's helpful. Maybe it's just for me, but anyway, it's, I think it's an important thing to hit on.
So good, Ryan. So be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to get angry, and then make sure you're an active listener by being present and being available.
Yeah, your whole body listener.
Whole body.
Love it. Yes, I love it.
Great show, Ryan.
Thank you.
Hey, Patrick, cue that song.
Mystery question time.
It's mystery question time.
All right. Do you want to read it, Michelle?
Sure. All right. What do we have here? What's a random skill you wish you had?
A random skill that I wish I had. These are great questions.
This is really good. I wish I knew how to fix things. Like handiwork.
Yeah.
Like I wish I knew how to fix,
Sure.
trim, and install the little things that your towels hang on in your bathroom, the little round hand towel holders. We've had new ones for over a year, but then it involves plastering the old holes, which I guess I could figure out. I just wish it was easier for me. I wish I had more mental capacity to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it comes down to is time and energy and mental capacity.
Maybe.
And then you have to put the plastic things in the wall to brace it. And there's a pattern that it came with to measure out. And it just seems really complicated for a towel holder.
Yeah.
I just want to drill it into the wall.
Right.
But it just seems, I wish that stuff was easier for me.
Yeah. What's a random skill you wish you had? Wow. Yeah. I mean, I fall into that same category, but I'm not going to steal your answer. So, I wish I could be more creative in like artistic.
Sure.
I'm not very good at drawing or that type of thing. But I think that'd be fun. I think it would be a good stress reliever.
Yeah.
But the problem is I'm so bad at it that it almost brings more stress.
So I remember during the pandemic, we were doing a bunch of online classes. I think Airbnb had just started their experiences. We did a drawing class and I thought it was so fun. We had fun together. It was a date night drawing class. And you were so hard on yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I thought your pictures were good.
Well, you had to share them with other people, too.
Who cares?
So, I know.
People, I didn't even know. And
they were like from Germany, so it's not like I probably will ever see them. But it was fun.
We should draw again.
Yes.
It is fun.
Yes.
So awesome. Very cool. Maybe that's a question you can ask your spouse. What's a random skill you wish you had? See what they say.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you guys, we have a fun event coming up in 2 weeks. It is the Celebrate Marriage date night. It's called Table for Two. We have one of our Celebrate MarriageCast guests coming for it. Debbie Wade is talking to you about healthy sex in marriage. It's going to be a great event. Table for two. You'll have an intimate space to just have that conversation with your spouse. It's not going to be, sharing with a group or anything. Just a time carved out for you and your spouse to have dinner, dessert, childcare is provided in the registration costs, and then talking about healthy sex in marriage. So that is Friday, October 24th. You can get registered at Celebrate..church. We thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you have a great week. And we also have marriage resources at Celebrate.church/marriage. See ya.
Have a great week.